Background in the sound వస్తుంది.
But background noise is there.
I can't do anything right now because it's like port has some issue.
నీ కడే కృష్ణ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ వస్తుంది.
అదే నా దగ్గరే పోర్ట్ సర్లేదు, అది ఎయిర్ పాస్ అవుతున్నట్టుంది హెడ్సెట్ కి, అందుకని సౌండ్
ఓకే ఇప్పుడు ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు బాగానే ఉంది.
ఓకే ఓకే, సో we are passing that dynamically the
department ID. So department ID is going to be anything in a process. So specific department related. So why we are using hash? We want to hash the whole whatever calculation done. But after that we want to get whatever specific department we want. So you can generally you can filter it here also. But I want to filter source itself. I want to calculate on each and every department in the source file data. I want to store that calculated fields in a hash. Whenever the customer is asked, I cannot go and change that, or I cannot specific department. I'll calculate on top of all the departments, but I'll just
when they want specific
department data, I'll use this flow. So here we are going to pass the department dynamically, like a runtime. We are going to pass what department, because in the source we'll have a number of departments. But right now, what is the requirement?
They are going to pass
that one. We want to get the data, and we want to load into the table, or you want to
somewhere, or you want to write on the
file. You can able to perform using a hash. So why we are using this scenario to understand the hash input and the hash output, how we are going to use, what is the use of this thing. It's a in-memory components which you whatever data you have stored in output, you can use n number of places, same one as a input, or you can use
for next all the processes, and at the end you can clear that output one.
So you have option, right? I am not clearing immediately right now because I want to use this same output in a next process also. So that's where I am not doing immediately after reading it. So whenever you select clear cache after reading, means it will clear the data after reading, so it will not be available for next process. So last at the end of your process,
you are going to say my flow of design is completed and I don't want the data next process, then you have to use that
clear cache after reading option. Otherwise you can leave it for first flow. You can use when you are going to be the last component, which is reading
output component. That component you have to select the clearing option.
Okay, so now I'm going to run this job. Here I'm passing 20 department. Teacher. Context also we have to give as a integer. So by default it took as a string, so you have to integer because we are the department number as integer all over the and hash output aggregator. So we have to integer. So now you see, right, the runtime value has passed here, and you can see that value as 20. So now you see, right, only department 20, and I want to run for only 10. So you can just pass 10 and get that value of department 10 related data. So this is how you store the data in hash components, and you can use n number of places in the same job. So I'm going to use, so now you get the 10. So I'm going to use the hash input, same component. I want to print all data. So I'm going to use hash input. Okay, so on sub job, okay, I want to print hash output data, everything onto log row. So another output I am trying to get this, and after reading this I want to clear this whatever it is stored in memory. So I'm just check that box to clear the data. So two places I am using same output. One place it's a specific department ID. I want to get the data, and second flow I just want to print all the data whatever we have calculated. So two places I am using same input whatever is output, hash output. Now you see, right? Two outputs. So two places we are getting
output, hash output, whatever we captured.
We are trying to use in a two. So one is for all department data. We want to get it department related.
Like that, you can use a in process. After this, you will not have a
data. You cannot need to have multiple files to store and you have to delete the file and all. So hash input and output will
in process of job. You can store the data and you can use a n number of times as a reference or a lookup or a input. You can use it and you can massage whatever data you want to use, that whatever stored in a hash output. So these components are you are going to see if it is a like a simple set of lookup data they want to use as a reference. So now here, right, I am using as a reference, it is a lookup. So yeah, I can use a specific
requirement
data only. I can use that the same. And another requirement, I want to get all the data
and I want to store.
so calculation I am output and t hash output, I am input, I am reading the data, and multiple places I can read that and I can use as per my scenario. That is a
hash of input and hash output.
The components, you just have to select a component, you can click on F1 and you can see what needs to be configured. Even you no need to, with this knowledge, you no need to worry
about what need to what
configured. You no need to go through the documentation also. You
things and what
like psychologically the components in Talend, why they are being a successful in a market, right? So the psychologically the component names and whatever the market has the latest technologies, everything they try to incorporate each and every version. That's where it's a open source and it is going to it's going to be a point-to-point integration. Anything is possible in Talend. That is you have to improve your confidence also. How they are marketing their self Talend, right? Same way you have to market yourself. You no need to learn. You need to know all the components in Talend. That is never ever going to happen in your career. Okay, so a number of components will be there. It depends on how you are going to work. What is the requirement you are going to get? Even interviewer is asking 10 components, you may not use the 10 components. Okay, you may use the 8 components. That kind of confidence level you have to show. Not like that whatever they are asking, everything you have to answer, every component I have to know. Or even I'm keep telling this a simple example. Tomorrow Tirupati is going to ask you one component that may be not covered in our training. So you cannot think Krishna is not discussed that component. Krishna is not explained that component. That is, you cannot take a kind of that kind of wrote on Krishna, because Krishna is not given that component. This Krishna is not tell that, because I know, because out of 900 components I may know 200 components. Maybe Tirupati know 201 component, or Sai, as with this experience, he may know 100 components. So, but 100 components also what Sai used I may not know. So that kind of way of answer you have to explain who is asking you, interviewer. Okay, you have to tell I am not aware, like I haven't get an opportunity to work on that component. That is what I have to show them. You give me the give me that component or give me the system. I can play with that component. I can show you how that component is going to work. That is the way you have to guide yourself, and you have to answer to others. That is important. So you are fundamentally, if you are getting trained, means you have to know the basic and standards, what needs to be done, what is the use of this technology, and what is the tool is going to play. This kind of information you have to get. But advanced and whatever each and every component, those things you have to get yourself practice daily. You can go and check in a palette and try to use how many components. Even by attending interview, So today they ask a few components. Tomorrow other interviewer will ask some other components. So whatever they are asking, you just go through that component and you can build your knowledge on it. That's how you have to build. Why I'm saying, right? You cannot feel uncomfortable. I don't know this component. I don't know this, how to use this. Not like that, because I'm doing, right. This is not I'm not prepared a scenario or something. Just when I'm doing itself, I got idea with my experience. Okay, why don't we cover the hash input and output here? Initially, I thought to put load into data. I want to show this job. After that, I'll go for hash. So when you are practicing, when you are doing that, you will get that kind of experience where we can use this component, where we can apply the scenario. That things you will get by practicing, by you get the requirement from others. Okay, that is very important. If you are not aware of any component, just go and check what needs to be configured, how to use that component, what is the required configuration from others. Like if you are somebody sharing some credentials or what, and Talend what component is going to use and how to use that credentials. Like you are going to use a like a AWS related, there is a different ways of connecting to the component. They'll have a basic authentication, or they'll have a some security, like a secret key authentication. So multiple ways of connecting the technology and the product. So it's going to be a different ways. So how the customer is, they are using a key factor of authentication, or they're using a basic authentication for each individual user. So you can find that in a component. You can go and see the component, what credential they have shared with you, and you can try to configure the credentials, and you have to check the connection is establishing or not. Like that, you have to think, and you have to build your knowledge. So because I am not aware of AWS before I am working, I am not aware of Azure before working on it. But still, if you are a integration developer, if you are any ETL developer, you have to know the basic things and component level configuration. By seeing the component itself, you have to you can apply what can be the past values to this component and how it is going to be tested, this kind of thing. Because we cannot learn all the technologies, all the components, how many ways of the product is used by the users. Those things we within a year, within a 2 years, you have to use like when you are using different projects, when you are connecting with different integrations, then you will get that kind of experience. Okay, so just why
I am giving information.
When they have some requirement with the Azure technology, so they'll ask how much confidence you are working with Azure, because Azure we don't have experience when you are attending interview. So you have to tell them Talend, it's not going to be a big deal to connect the Azure components. We have a components and we have authentication. This kind of basic information you can talk with them. They can have that confidence. Okay, this guy is able to manage. If the Azure related any requirement comes, he can able to build the job. So otherwise, I like you say simply, I don't know Azure components. Not that way the answer. Or you should not say I don't know Azure. I know only MySQL and file input output components. This is what I used. Not like that. With the training, you have know the fundamentals and basic components and what are the systems you have. But coming to real time or interviewer, they are going to ask what they need. So they are also aware. You will not have all the technology knowledge and all. You are a Talend developer, but still you are able to connect to the dot. Like if you are using a Azure, if you are using a Snowflake, if you are using a Oracle, so whatever, you have that ability to build that kind of dots between the different integrations. So that is what they are going to check. So when you are answering, you have to say that kind of level of confidence. You have to talk with the people, because Talend developer means they'll expect components, how you are going to design the components and all. Nowadays market is like that. They're not checking your logical strengths or way of approaches and all. If they're taking for a Talend developer, they'll ask a number of components, or what are the components you have used related that component questions only they'll ask. That is not the right path, but market is going like that. So Talend developer means he can do only Talend related components only. Nowadays, even I am getting resumes, right? People, if you ask SPL, yeah, I'm using little bit, but I'm aggressively working on Talend job design only. See, that is not the way. But before 4 5 years back, So if you are a ETL developer, you have to know the SQL because ETL means extract the data. Always it will be a data warehouse, right? You have to know the SQL before building any ETL process. So that is how the interviews are going earlier. But now last after Corona or before Corona also, people are looking for specific technology developers. So you are one way you are lucky if you don't know much SQL, you are not comfortable like a depth of SQL or something, or you are not a used earlier anything SQL or something, but still you are a Talend developer. So you can talk about Talend components and you can achieve through Talend. So SQL whatever, right? For now aggregation, right? So these many components, these many things need to do. You can just write a SQL query, just a sum of salary and count of employees. These things will be in a two lines of code will be going to take care in a SQL. We don't need we don't need these components and all. Okay, why we are doing? We are going to have a huge data which we are going to handle in our ETL. So that's where we are going to use any ETL tool and these kind of components. Okay, so the logically how you are going to solve problem is important. But nowadays what is happening, if you are a Talend developer, if you go and say in a SQL also, they'll ask how you are going to do in a Talend. So what component you are going to use, how you are going to configure in aggregator. So these kind of questions will come to you. So that's where you have to be very smart when you are answering. So you should not say I don't know this component, I don't know. I don't know is not a right answer. If they ask any technical like a component which is related to things, you have to say I have used a similar kind of thing. For example, I'm saying AWS, right? You have not used it, but still you can just have go through what is the job profile, so what technologies they are using, and you can go through that basic information about AWS. So they are connecting S3. Okay, S3 means what is that? So yes, S3, C3 is like a simple storage service. So what is that? So it is going to store, and what components are Talend. So S3 put, S3 get, like that. You can just have a one glance on that related components. So you can go to the folder, you can see that AWS. So you can just type Amazon. Before this is why when you have to do before attending the interview itself, you have to check the job details. So what is they are looking for. Even now Naukari also they'll specify, right? Knowledge with Amazon with Talend. So knowledge with Azure with Talend, like that they'll mention. Then what you have to do, right? To crack that interview, you have to go to the Amazon related
Talent and what is the things, basic things.
kind of preparation is required before attending itself, so that you can have like a one level of confidence answers to them. Otherwise you just simply go sit, I'm a Talend developer, I know T file input delimiter, I know tmap, I know MySQL comp output, MySQL input. That is some people will accept, but some people will think he's not having that confidence level if it is a new product or something. So just to go through the job details, even if you are doing a proxy also, I'm suggesting who is going to do the proxy, ask them based on the job details. You have to go through that, what technologies are they are looking for, what is the job offer they are doing. So they are integrating with the Talend with some like a Hadoop or Talend with some NoSQL. So what is the requirement? So based on that, you have to prepare yourself basic things, and then you can talk in interview. Otherwise you cannot you simply sit and you will say I know tmap, I know t aggregate row, I know sort row, I know t flex input flow, t input flow, and I have discussed t hash output, t hash input. Not like that. See, this is a regular components, you can say these are all regular components I have used in my flow. But what is the job detail? So what is the requirement of job they are offering, what technologies they are looking. So just that kind of basic, you can go through that related components, and you can talk about that components. So they'll understand, okay, he has some idea, but he really is not hands on that component. Based on your way of discussion itself, they can guess, okay, he is aware of what are all components in the Talend, so how to integrate that components and all. So if you give a opportunity, is ready to work on that. Otherwise simply you don't, I don't know S3, I have not used S3. That is okay, you are genuinely honestly saying, but that is not the ETL developer requirement, right? So if anything you have to integrate. So you have a 900 components means when you get an opportunity, you are ready to work on that 900 components related any integration. Okay. So that you have to improve. So these things, right? This is very helpful. If you follow this, they are now when you are attending, go through the job details. What is the requirement? Talent with NoSQL or Talent with Hadoop, Talent with whatever Salesforce or Talent with. Some people will clearly mention they are looking for integration between Talent using Talent between some NoSQL database. So then go to the NoSQL database. What are the NoSQL database? It's going to be Mongo or Cassandra and related things. Even when I am going to interview, I'll go through the JD and I'll say if I'm able to cover what they're looking for, then only I'll go like an interview. It's not just a talent developer. Then only you can easily crack the first interview itself. Even with this knowledge, you can able to. You have follow the tips what I am discussing, right? So go through JD and check what is their requirement and check what components in Talent and what is the like kind of basic authentication or what kind of authentication they can have approaches to connect that database or any service, Amazon or whatever, so that this information with you, right, you will have that confidence to answer them. But still you honestly you can say I have a knowledge. When you go through these things in a Google, you will have some knowledge. Hands-on, you can say I didn't get hands-on opportunity. So when you give opportunity, I'm ready to work on that. That is the way you have to show that you are have a capability to do that any kind of integrations and all. But simply you cannot say I don't know, I haven't used Amazon. So people is saying very honestly, even I am seeing that kind of people. So I'm saying don't lose the opportunity or don't say I don't know things. Okay, JD is to be very first requirement when you are attending interview. So when you are going for a proxy some person, ask them this is what I have get the call and they are looking for talent with these things. So how you can leverage this whatever technology they're asking, so that prepare that level and then you can attend the interviews. So easily you can crack the interviews. Even other person also will feel that comfort, you are having that knowledge. You simply you will say I don't know or I think nobody encourage you, right? What is the point of taking you? So I cannot go and train you on that specific integration and all, correct? So that is what very important. Okay, and now I'm coming back to here. I think we are running out of time. Let me store this in a table. So we'll continue. And a few more components are there. Okay, what we can do, right? So let me build job one. We'll cover this. Okay, I'm going to create. So one more job I am creating. So you have a number of flows or a number of jobs. When you have to sequentially, you have to execute the job. There is a component called T-run job component, which is going to call the job, other job in your other job. So you want to, this is another job. You want to call other job in this, right? I want to call this aggregation job. Okay. So I want to call this aggregation process. I want to build this. I want to run outside. I want to pass that department ID as a runtime to that outside of the talent. So now I'm going to call this aggregation job, whatever we have built right now. So you can select that. You can T-run job. You can just drag and drop that job, but how to use that component I am trying to cover here. Okay, you can just select the job and you can see the latest version. You have any specific version, you can select. Otherwise, default you can use the latest. Okay, same thing you can do. You are just using the T-run job component to call the any other job. What is the component? T-run job component. Okay, so or you can directly just drag and drop this job, right? It will also give that T-run job component and it will give the with the job name and same configuration. You can see that what is the job and what is the things, it will whatever default, but we are using a T-run job. So manually also you can select which job you want to run, or you want to call that job directly into the other job. You can just drag and drop. This is a this is going to be a like a parent job and this is going to be a child job. In general, it is another job you are calling within the another job, you are calling another job. So it's a T run job component, which can use to call the other job. Okay, so I'm going to call this job, and I'm creating a like a one more job just to print some date. So I'm going to create one more job. So T is Java. So job name, you know, right? Global variable we have. So what is the job name? You can print the job name. So I'm saying jobs. Get date. Okay, so I'm going to have the same thing. I'm going to run this.
Okay, so job name is
This time. Okay, so we are capturing that start time of the job. Okay, I'm going to close this job, and I'm going to rename. So how to rename the job? So you have a job, you want to rename it. So you can just right click, and you can have a edit properties. You can click on edit properties, and you can change this. And how to duplicate the job? Just you can right click, and you can duplicate the job. I want to give as end job. Okay, this is the end job. So I'm going to change the started to ended here. Okay, so I'm capturing start time in a start job, end time in a end job. Okay, so I want to, whenever before start this main process, I want to call these jobs also the sequence to one to say how to sequence the jobs. For that purpose, I'm just creating these jobs. Okay, so total 3 jobs I have. So first job is going to print when job is starting, it's going to print the start time of the job. So after that, immediately I want to process the actual job, and lastly I want to run this job. So this is how you are going to sequence of jobs you can do in a parent job. So you are going to call multiple jobs within the same job, and you can assign or you can do parallel. So if you are running parallel something, you have a component. I told you right initially, there is a T parallelize component. You can just you'll have a two connections with that two parallel T parallelize. You'll have a T parallelize and synchronize. So you can select parallelize. This is a it is a open studio. I don't have that parallelize component to show, but this one right sequentially. So total I have 3 jobs, and I want to run in a sequential order. First this job and second this job, third this job, and each and every job, right? This is a child job or a parent job. So if you have any context here, you can have that context parameter. So for example, department ID we have in a child job also, or you want to have department ID here also, department ID. Okay, this is a parent job level also. You have that parameter. Okay, so it is an integer type. So how to use the context in a like a different jobs between different jobs. So this is a parent job which is going to have a multiple jobs called. So which is calling multiple jobs. You can treat it as a parent job. And here you can see the option, right? So if you have any context you want to transmit between the child job to parent job, you can use the whole context. So it will get all the context from or you want a specific context, you want to add a specific context, you can select that specific context. For this job, right, there is no context specific, because start job we don't have anything. So now you can go in here. So you will have a context which is you want to use for specific. So you can here. So here you can see, right, these are all context variables. So department ID already used in which component? You are used in aggregation T sort aggregator row. You have used a department ID. That one you want to pass dynamically, or you want to pass it. So this is a specific to one context variable, or you want to whole context to transmit, you can use the whole transmit. So whatever child job has the context, right, you can transmit to the parent job also. Okay, so or you can create a parent context variable, you can pass to the child job. So this is a like a child to parent, so parent to child. So whatever we have that related values we can pass from parent also. But already I have selected as a runtime this one. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to pass the value for this job from runtime. So I'm going to build this job. I'm going to remove the
studio level. So this department ID
to pass that. So I'm going to
parent job to child job. So in this component,
sync the context variables between the
jobs. Okay, so I am going to add this one, right? Okay, you can leave it. So now I'm going to build this job. So we have a series of jobs. Start job need to be run.
complete of
This job need to be run after this job. So this is how you can
flow in your ETL. So set of jobs you want to run sequentially, or you want to run parallelly. You'll have a in enterprise version. You'll have a T parallelize. You can just use that parallelize component. You can just Google it. The component you can see two connections will be there: parallelize and synchronize. Parallelize you can connect to like a parallelize is going to happen like this. So the parallelize component you can treat this like a parallelize component. You have like example T Java. So this one, right, you can connect parallelly. So you will connect to the parallelly. So for example here, right, I'm going to use a if to show that. So this is how it is going to be. So parallel. So if is you can treat it as a connection name parallel. So T parallelize component like this you can connect parallelly. And finally you want to run which job after completing all these jobs you want to run this, then you can use a synchronize option will be there. Synchronize here I'm using sub job. Okay, so synchronize. So T parallelize component you can just Google it. You can see that how looks like that component and all. So but the connection name will have a parallelize. Here if you are seeing, right, instead of if you are going to see the parallelize, and here also you can see the parallelize. So these two jobs I am going to run parallelly, because that is what requirement. And this job after completing these two jobs I want to run this job, then there is a synchronize option. So synchronize will be there instead of sub job. Okay, you can see that synchronize option, so that this job will run. Right now our scenario is in a sequential manner. I want to run the start job first, and then I want to run the aggregation job, and then I want to run the end job. So you can have a sub job. Okay, so you can connect from start job to your aggregation job, and your aggregation job to end job. So this is how you are going to sequentially you can establish a flows in your parent job. Okay, so now I'm going to arrange this. You can arrange this in horizontal or vertical, up to you. So design. Okay, I'm going to close this job. So you want to run this without Talend. Without Talend also you can able to run this job. So how you are going to run? So somebody is going to share this job, and how you are going to run this job outside we are going to see now. Okay, where is the parent job? So this is the parent job, right? You can just you can see option, right? Earlier we have export option. So export and import is used for only import the jobs whatever is created. So you cannot run that code anything. So what is the export import? Whatever flows you created in Talend, it has a item file, property file, and screenshot of your components and all. These three files will help you to you can import any studio once somebody shared with you the import items. And if you want to share with others, you can use the export items. But you want to run the job, you want to run the job directly without importing or exporting, or you want to run the job without Talend also, because servers, example Linux, you will have a servers, right? So that servers will have only job server, they will not have studios and all. So you have to run the job from like you have to just copy whatever build. So build you are going to have the executable scripts. If it is a Windows, you will have a batch file. If it is a if you are using Linux, that's going to be a shell. If you are using Mac, like that, whatever system you are using, and whatever place you have installed the server, based on the OS, they'll have that executable script file they are going to provide. For that, they are giving you option to build the job. So build job is an option which will create a executable file for you. So executable file without Talend also you can able to run your job outside of the any mission. So if Java is available, you can able to run this job outside. Okay, you no need to install, or you no need to have setup of Talend and all. You just have to have Java and a job server on which location you are running, so that you no need to import in a studio, you no need to check. Okay, so I'm going to copy here, build this job. And two more components will be there. Maybe tomorrow I'll discuss and I'll brief the things, and we'll check with Tirupati and myself. We'll check with that guy if possible. Tomorrow itself we'll have a how to schedule the tag job and all. We'll cover it so that we no need to be connect on Saturday. Okay. If he has some again weekdays, right? So he's not able to join tomorrow, means maybe he'll not able to connect with us on Monday also. So Saturday only he can able to. We'll check and we'll let you know. Anyway, tomorrow I am going to connect, right, for few like two more components I want to cover. With that, we are done with Talend related whatever learning we have done, but the scheduling part alone I don't have in my mission. But still, open source I'll show you how you can schedule the open source tools and all. See how import and export, right? But coming to build, it took some time, because it is trying to prepare all the executable scripts and executable jars, whatever required things it is trying to export it. Okay, where is the job? Yeah, here you can see, right, parent job. So you can right click and you can extract it. So whatever libraries, whatever required things, it's built in library folder. And if you go to the job folder, you can find the sh file and batch file. So this is a your executable script. So you can able to run this outside of your Talend. So you can see what is your job, what is our job and what is the context you have selected. So this is going to create a executable jar, and that executable jar is called by the script. So bat means batch script. Okay, if you are running Windows, you have to use the batch file. If you are running in a Linux environment, you have to use the sh. So right now in a open source they have like a batch and sh and pass one. So this is a PowerShell. So you can see, right, which environment, which OS you can run that. You can see that kind of type of the file, and where you can run that information, you can see the type. So these are all script. So executable script files, you can able to run respective OS. So it is for Windows, and this is for PowerShell, this is for shell. So you can able to find these files and you can able to run this, and required whatever related text files or whatever context files or whatever related libraries I have used, everything will come under this folder. So this is your folder. So now I'm going to
So now here, so you can type
get a list of
things. So run that batch. So you want to run that batch file. So what you have to do, parent job space to pass runtime, right? You want to pass any runtime variable. So there is a checkbox. Simply you have check that box. But here you want to pass a runtime, right? This is what the so hyphen context param space this is what argument to pass to the job. So you can pass this as a runtime argument. So what is the context variable, what is the value you want to pass as a runtime. So this is a runtime. So if you are running like
the job, you are
passing that value to that variable. So this is going to be a syntax for your run
variables. So right now I'm using a department ID. You want to use another variables, you can use n number of variables. You can pass like this. You can pass content every variable. Before you have to pass this hyphen context param. After that, what variable you are passing and what is the value you are assigning to that. So this is how you have to pass in a runtime. This is the syntax for runtime, passing the parameter to the your job. So now it is going to see the default context param. It is added that department equal to 10. So now is
right. You see, right? So start job is job, it executed and it is printed the time, and after that our aggregated process related job executed. In our second flow we have a department wise getting the total salary and number of employees, and we have a all whatever aggregated data, and end job is we have a end job to print the end job is ended at this time. So now I want to connect for just it's going to pass
30. This is how you are going to get the 30 department. Okay, like this you are going to run a runtime. You can pass a number of variables. So whatever you want to pass, that you can pass that variable and related value. Same way for DB credentials, you want to pass a username password also, you can pass it. So this is the syntax for runtime passing the arguments. Job name, like a whatever script file or for whatever context file, whatever default. If you are not passing, if there is a context file, right, you can just have a context file path. So just context hyphen param context file name equal to where is your context file. Just you can pass that context file. So in this job, I am not loading any context variables from the file. Just I am passing the department ID alone. So that's where I am using. If you have a context file, load to this one, right? If you have a context load file and all, you can just use a
file your variable you created as that path. So if your context file
context file have.
You can just select that.
Data.
Pass this context file, and you can context underscore txt. So whatever file you are going to
for UAT, you can go and use
the context.uat. So this
try. So just the syntax is you want to run. So context file is a runtime, right? So whenever you are which environment you are running, or you are running same environment, but you want to load into the UAT. So you can pass this context file, which context file is going to refer to the UAT. So the credentials which are available in context file related to UAT, that context file you have to pass as a parameter for this job. So this is the job, like for example, this is the job. So this is the job, right? So this is the job. You can just go and add this context. So this is the add this. And same way you want to pass this variable also. You can add one more variable also. You can add this one more variable also. Type. So this is how you can pass n number of runtime variables. So when you are running a job, you can pass n number of variables and you can assign the values. So this is how. What is the batch file? So which job you are running the related bash script and related context param. Context param is the syntax. So this is the variable hyphen context param, and what is the variable and what is the value you are assigning to that variable equal to value. Same next variable you want context hyphen the value and related variable. So like this you can pass the runtime. So now I want to use a 2 minutes guys. I'm going to close the scheduler also open source. Scheduler system scheduler tool like a scheduling the job and all. So I can go and schedule whatever job we have built it, right? So I want to go and schedule this every 1 hour, so or every 5 minutes I want to run that job. So okay,
so I'm giving a
you are going to do in a tag also, so it will help you to
like a knowledge. So even you are practicing also, you can download or you can use scheduler. Job title is aggregate job, and what is the batch job you have to use. So this is the batch job. I'm selecting that batch file. So what is the batch file, and I have a context parameter pass. So this want to change every time you can. Okay, so here you can change it. So I am configured that I am enable the event. So this is a one more tool for scheduling. Okay, this is a open source again. So you can title that, and what is the use of this? This is a run application to run the job. Okay, so to run the job you have to select the run application, and you have to specify where that script file. So you are running in a I'm running in a Windows environment, so I'm using the batch file. If you are running in a Linux, you have to select the shells as a. So default I have to pass this variable so that it can able to execute it. Okay, and so schedule. So event configuration I have done. What is the event I want to run every time, and coming to the schedule. So I want to run this every minute, or you want to run every minute, or you want to run next month, or you want to run for every year one time, or you want to run for every hour. So you can have same way you will have a tag.
You can see that scheduling day, at what day you want to run, what time of the day you want to run,
that kind of information you will have. So now I am going to run I want to run for every
every 3 minutes I want to run this job to show how it is going to be. So okay, so I'm going to run this. So
trigger, it will trigger what time to trigger
13. So 1 minute is there, it is going to trigger.
just
Very simple, but tag it's going to be how to push the code. This is outside of Talend and outside of Talend related scheduler. This is a open source scheduler, so you can schedule your jobs this way. So this is not anything related to Talend. So the job is also Talend developed, but we are not using. So now you can see, right?
it is triggered at 10:39 and it passed that runtime variable as a 10 and first job is started at so started job is completed and it is waiting for aggregation process. It is calculating that aggregation first flow. I'm going to run manually. Provided the wrong job actually. I have provided the wrong job, so we are not getting the whatever we have built, right? Where is parent? This one, and I'll go here, and I'll select that batch. So 10:42 is going to trigger. New scheduler, you are going to see this scheduling options, right? So
Every year access is it depends on the data processing earlier. So it is going to be a weekly job or a monthly job or a daily job or hourly job. They're going to specify schedule in your scheduling tool. It's going to be any tool, right? It's not a tag. It's going to be a, so now you see, right? We are able to get that because it's we didn't pass it. So you want to pass that output, you can go and pass that output.
sometime do that also. So you can just put the pass command.
So after printing the output, I just want to pass it. So now you want to run manually also. You want to run for it will going to trigger at 45, like 10:45, so 9:45. So you want to manually trigger. Same option will be there in your tag also, or any scheduler you will have a manual trigger also. As per schedule, it is going to trigger, or before your scheduler you want
Before you want to run the
to have a option
to run now and
Autosys, they'll have a force start. If it is a tag, it is have a same manual run command. So options are going to be the similar. So you can just compare that any scheduler. So all these manually force start or schedule the particular time. So now it's
not going to remove till you click the end. So now you can see, right, 10 department related output. So now you want to run for 30 department. You can just change here just to understand.
going to be a real time.
We are going to pass this kind of
And all from a runtime. Okay, just
to your knowledge purpose. I am explaining the things. Okay, don't explain in your
department we are passing runtime and all. Okay.
So now 30 related department data. I want to see, right, 30 related data. And this screen we have a 10 related data. And this screen we have a department data.
In runtime, you can pass this. You can pass your whatever department. So now you can compare, right? So I am able to execute for 10 department, 20 department. You can see the both the outputs. So that is what our runtime. So runtime, if you pass something, you will get that data. So how we are using talent checkbox to before executing, we are asking prompting the value, right? So that part we are covering in a command line mode. So you can pass that runtime. So that's it. How to build a job, how to pass a runtime arguments and all. So we covered that build option also. So all these things covered, right? With Java is there, you can run. If I close the studio, it's not depend on studio. So you can close the studio and you can, the scheduler is going to trigger every 15 minutes, every 3 minutes. So I'm going to close. There is no relation between your talent and whatever build you are running in a scheduler. So all the code, whatever is builded, they have shared and you have used in a scheduler. So the scheduler is going to look for a talent is there or not talent. It's not going to look for. So all the code is built it. It is a Java based tool. So all the code is built in Java and it is created a script to execute that Java code, jar file and all. So you don't need a talent. Even I can uninstall the talent also. This job is going to run till I stop this scheduling. So I want to disable this. You can go and disable. Same way you'll have an option in tag also. Disable, uncheck the schedule. So you can uncheck it, it won't run. So if now I'm going to save it. So now it's not going to trigger anymore. So you can see, right, there is no last run, next run information. Same way in another scheduler, keep that hold or you want to stop that running as per schedule, you will have an option to stop that schedule. Okay. So all these options, whatever in any scheduler, you are going to see the same kind of option. That's what I'm telling. You are not familiar with the tag also, you can able to manage with this knowledge of what you can say. We'll have a options to manual run the job and we can have a schedule the job based on the business requirement, hourly basis or a monthly basis or a yearly basis. We can schedule it and you want to run manually, you want to force start, you can force start it or as per schedule it is going to run. These are all common statements. You no need to worry about I have know about tag scheduler, I have know about system scheduler, I have know about a Windows scheduler, I have know about auto scheduler. So that is a kind of base is going to be the common. The standards of any scheduler is going to be common. You can schedule in a every hourly or weekly or monthly. These options are same. And you want to run manually, you can run manually. You want to run scheduled base, you can run it scheduled base. But how to push the code is going to change. It depends on the scheduler. So now you are using a open source scheduler. So I am building the code and I am manually building the code and pushing it. But when you are enterprise environment, you are completely using Talend and tag. There is an option, different options to build the code, and then scheduling is going to be the common, but only the deployment process is going to change. So this is called a deployment, right? I am building the job and a particular folder. From the particular folder, I am specifying that where is the batch and where is the shell or whatever it is. So the deployment process is going to change, but scheduling is going to be similar. The fundamentals or basics of any scheduler is going to be the same. It is going to be a tag or any autosys or control M or whatever you are going to heard or you are going to use in your project. All the schedulers functionality is the same. You can schedule a particular time. you can schedule, you can kill that job, you can manually force start it. So job is running, you want to build in between, you want to kill it, you will have an option to kill it like that. So you can see here, right? Stop the event, delete the event. These are all options you are going to be similar in any other scheduler. Okay. So I'm going to stop here today. Thanks for cooperating, waiting for another 20 minutes. So I have few minutes. I need a few minutes. Maybe tomorrow I'll take that 10 minutes. Overall fundamental entire process we have completed. So maybe once that guy shared the screen, so deployment process, how the deployment, maybe he's using a different deployment process. And if you are going to join any other project, different people, different environments, the deployment process is going to change. But your development of talent job and calling the like scheduling, these things are going to be common. But deployment, it depends on the environment, it's going to change. Okay, that you have to adapt when you are going to do.